So in today's video, we're going to talk about this seminal awareness through movement lesson that's called Edges of the Feet. You lie on your back with your knees bent, and much of the lesson is done making very subtle movements that would lift the inner and the outer edge of the foot. And you do this with different emphases. And one of the constraints in the lesson is that you also learn how to do it while keeping the big toe down on the ground when you lift the inner edge, and keeping the fourth and fifth toe down on the ground when you try to lift the outer edge. And having taught this lesson many times and watched many people do it over the years, one of the things I see very often is when you first hear the instructions to lift the edge of the foot, most people tend to simply roll their ankle. They make a movement from the top of the ankle, because that's what they know how to do, and it's the easiest thing that's available to them. But I think in refining your study of the lesson, you really want to understand how to start to access and change your organization more and more so that you're making more and more discrete movements that have to do with the cuboid and the sustentaculum talus. This is the cuboid here, that patch of the cuboid that sits underneath the ankle. Because what most people do in the beginning is to lift the inner edge of the foot, they will simply roll. And what they're rolling very often is their heel. They're rolling the heel out. And over time studying this lesson, you really want to learn how to actually inhabit the part of your foot that sits under and make movements that just simply lift the edge without displacing quite so much laterally. That's the refinement to look into. And the same thing is true for lifting the outer edge of the foot. Rather than rolling the top of the foot and doing it all that way, the direction of refinement has to do with using the musculature that runs under the bottom of the foot here and really learning how to lift the outer edge of the foot. Lift the outer edge of the foot as opposed to rolling. So many of these things have to do with learning how to sense when the support is getting better. And the support often has to do with how clearly the articular surfaces of the bones get more flush together. Because when they get more flush, that arch can take weight more skillfully. And when they're poorly organized, that can't really take weight very skillfully. That has the entire body weight on top of it, and that's going to be part of the reason the foot doesn't do its job so well. So that's something to think about. If you don't have a copy of the lesson, Edges of the Feet, you can comment in this video, and I'll be happy to link to a version of the lesson, or you can head on over to my Patreon page and do one of the free lessons that's there that uses that theme. Okay, thanks so much. This is Andrew Gibbons.